Welcome to Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando, the podcast for women in business on a mission, sharing ideas to support you to grow, lead, and thrive. Now, here's your host, Caterina Rando.
Welcome back to another episode of the Expand Your Fempire podcast. I'm your host, Caterina Rando, and I am blissing to be with you today because we have a very special guest, a very smart guest, a very insightful guest who I know you are going to be wanting to take notes as you listen to, and that is Christi Corradi. Christi, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so much.
Christi is a transformational life mastery consultant. She is my friend. She is a part of our Thriving Women business community for many years. I have had the privilege of being coached by Christi, and what we are going to talk about today is how to create miracles in your life every day. Christi, I want to get there, but before we get there, I want to hear a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Well, I know we just have a few minutes to share this, but I'm going to start all the way back at the beginning. I grew up with a grandmother who was very wise and knowledgeable into a type of thinking that I came to learn later that was very unusual. I thought everybody thought this way, but I found out when I went through middle school that it wasn't. And so I kind of put it on the back burner. And then as I became an adult, I began to understand that there are universal principles in the universe that run us or operate us. Now, I had a lot of struggling as I came through this learning process, but all of those struggles helped me realize that when I really understood the universal principles and how to use them, that I could create an amazing life. I could create miracles.
Bing, bing, bing. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. So why don't we dive in? Christi, I know you have a 5-step process. But before we get to it, because we want to hear it, please tell us where this all came from. And before we do that, Christi, let's define miracle, okay? Because, I'm raised Catholic, so I think of, 3 miracles to be a saint. So tell me what you mean by miracles.
Okay, so actually the definition in the dictionary of miracles is that it's something comes about that can't be explained by what we call reality or science. But what we know now is that science and spirituality are blending. We know that through quantum physics, and a lot of the developments now, science is proving what people have known through spirituality. So what it really is the understanding of the use of the invisible principles to create things that seem out of the ordinary.
And from a business context, that's like getting 5 clients to land on your lap, or getting a new revenue goal, or getting that opportunity that you're excited to get, but a lot of people want it. And if it comes to you, it's practically a miracle. You mean like that?
Yeah. So I was doing my retreat of manifesting miracle money. And one of the people said that by the end of this call, they wanted to end the end of the retreat, which is a 4-hour retreat on Zoom. And by the time they said they wanted to have 3 or 5 new appointments by the end of the call. And it wasn't more than 20 minutes into the call, they go, wow, I have 2 already. And by the end of the call, they had met their goal. Now, why does that happen? It happens because we align our thinking with the truth that our universe is all abundant. There is abundance everywhere. And what gets in the way of that is just our beliefs about how the world works, the status quo thinking, and what we were programmed with to think. You got to work hard. Did you know that? You got to work hard.
Right. That's what we're programmed. We got to work hard.
Exactly.
Now, I do believe that you do this part, but you also do have to take action. Action is required, but it doesn't have to be hard. It can be
Right.
super fun.
If you want to think about actions to take, instead of working on the how do I get there? You think, what is a step that I can take in the direction of? And actually what that does, and yes, we must actually take action. That's the second step. First, we must vision and know the truth that that desire or that vision is ours to manifest. And the second is, yes, absolutely, to take steps in that direction, because what that does is it notifies the universal law that you are that kind of person moving in that direction. So if you go out and you say, oh, I'm going to work hard, the universe goes, great, I'm going to make it so you have to work hard. If you go, I want to be joyful and blissful as I experience my becoming of my vision, my dream, then that's what the universe sends you. So the action should be in alignment with that.
Okay, I love it, Christi. So let's back up to step one. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's go through these steps, because I want to manifest more miracles in my life and my business.
Mm-hmm.
And I know our listeners do too. Give it to us.
Step one of manifesting miracles is creating a vision. Now, we've all done that and we've created our vision boards, but we must be in the first law of the universe, which is the vibrational frequency of that we want. We cannot get to our dream. We must come from our dream. And so we create a vision. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's thinking about the future. It is not. Your dream already exists once you have a desire for it. There's a lot of other options too of what manifests. It depends on what actions you take in that direction. And so a vision of where I want to go is very important to hold it as the vibration, as if it already has happened. And I call it putting on the suit, acting as if, right?
Let me ask a question. Okay. Christi, you said, and I love that, putting on the suit, you're putting on the suit, your vision. You said, though, about vibrational frequency. Mm-hmm. Now, this is where I get a little bit maybe confused or concerned, because I don't know if the suit I'm putting on of my vision is the vibrational frequency of that thing that I want. How do I make sure my vibration is matching my vision?
Okay, what do you think you want to feel? Let's go to the feeling in your success. I know you, Miss Caterina, you want joy and bliss. Okay, that is a vibrational frequency. So I want joy and bliss. Now, we use pictures just to help us create that in our mind. And that's why at the end of all of the visions, you should say this or something even better. But it's just to get your mind to think in pictures of a vibrational frequency. That doesn't mean it's written in cement or concrete, right? It means that you are operating at that frequency and want it. So let's take, for example, you have a vision of what's your next program you're creating?
Well, I want to do a conference on a cruise. I want to have 100 women get on a cruise ship and have a Thriving Women in Business conference. That's one of my dreams. I'm not sure when it's going to happen.
Okay, so you don't need to know when it's going to happen, and you don't need to know how. What does it feel like? I can see, because we're looking at each other here, I can see the expression on your face.
Yeah, I'm
how
very
does
excited.
It make you feel?
Bliss, as I see 100 women together laughing and having fun, makes me very happy.
And so, I hate cruises, right? So I'm like, wait a minute. What if, like, all of a sudden you were offered an opportunity to do 100+ conference in Greece? I mean, would you say, that's not on a ship?
No, I would not say that, but I would prefer Italy.
Okay, Italy. Let's say Italy. Let's say Italy. You and I both love Italy, right?
Yes.
Okay, so would that be the same vibrational frequency as, or even higher than, being on a cruise ship?
Yes, I would be. I mean, It could be the
Yeah,
same or higher.
exactly.
Of
So
course.
that's the point, is that you hold the vibrational frequency, and part of the reason you do cruises is because you've been doing those, you know how to do those and things like
Yeah.
that. So you hold that frequency and you say this or something even better, and then you let things happen to you. Now, when you are in that flow of things, it's called being the low pressure front, and the wind doesn't blow, the wind pulls into a low pressure front. And the only thing that gets in the way of that wind blowing into that low pressure front, or the things happening to make those things happen, is when we stand in the way and
Okay.
block the wind from getting to that low pressure front. So as long as you hold this or something greater, it's the image. We are human. We think in pictures. It's given
Right.
you the picture to think of it. Okay, your vision is step one. It's the most important step, and it's actually probably the only step that we're going to get to. But I have 5 questions today to see if your dream is worthy of you. Now, notice I didn't say, are you worthy of the dream?
Right.
Is your dream worthy of you? So here's 5 questions.
Okay.
Number 1 is, does it give me life? So feel that.
So I would say, does it give me vitality? Yes.
Yes. And does it align with your core values?
Yes.
Okay, now, one of the things, a lot of people don't know what their core values are. So that's one of the things you have to handle in step 2. Well, what are my core values? There was this woman that wanted to be a hairdresser, and she wanted to find a way to travel the world and be a hairdresser. So she decided to apply to be on a cruise ship. And then she found out that to work that, you've got to be 4 or 5 months on a cruise ship, right? Well, she had a young daughter, and she was like, that doesn't align with my core values because I want to be home with my child. And so then she said, so what is another high vibrational thought? I want to be a teacher, a kindergarten teacher. By the time her child was in kindergarten, she was a teacher and got to teach her own child in class. So she had to look at her core values.
Okay, you said a lot of people don't know their core values. I want to say that this is really important for people to put attention on figuring out their values, because your values help with your decision making. And I want to encourage everyone to have integrity. Well, these are my values, but I encourage everyone to look at embracing integrity, generosity, service, community, and of course, fun or bliss or positivity as part of your core values. I've got more, but those are a few recommendations, because your values guide us in our whole business and life.
And you can reword that. Mine are kindness, honesty, which goes along with integrity, and family. And
Right.
so when I make a decision about doing one of my travel programs, or taking time out to do XYZ, I say, how does it affect my family? And just like the woman with the child. In my book, Beyond the Box, chapter 5, I think it is, actually has a process for you to do around discovering your values, because it is core to this work.
Let me also say, love is a very important value.
Yes.
And I will also say, Christi has a great book. I encourage you to get it. This part on values is fabulous. I also want to mention we have a podcast, one of our episodes on values as well. Okay, Christi, keep going.
Okay, so step number 3 is, does it cause you to grow? Now, if you've done it before, you're not growing, or you're growing in refining it or developing it. But if you're just doing the same thing over and over again, we live in an expanding universe, and it is our nature and part of the universal law to expand in creativity and freedom and life and fun all the time. And so you want to ask yourself, does this vision cause me to grow? Number 4 is, does it require help from a higher power? Now, it doesn't matter if you believe in any particular higher power, but it is still that kind of same thing as causing you to grow. Am I relying on the universal principles? Am I relying on my relationship with God or Goddess or Buddha or whatever? Because we are not just in a physical universe, we are also spiritual beings, living in the physical world. And number 5 is, Does it have good in it for others?
Okay. Yeah.
Always an important question to ask, because so desire is something people go, well, I really want to be in a relationship, and how does that help other people? Well, it helps other people by the vibrational frequency you exude when you are in a relationship.
And also you uplift your partner.
And you uplift your partner. It's not just, oh, he uplifts me, right?
Right.
Yes. So this is only step one of the 7 steps of creating a miracle. And I am offering courses on that new experience.
Christi, first of all, I have done work with you. I'm excited. I want to come take this course. I want others to know that you are a masterful teacher. I'm sure they're getting that experience from you right now. But my friend, I don't like to leave the peeps hanging. So we do have to at least tell them what the steps are.
What the 7 steps of creating a miracle are. Okay, so here's a miracle story that just causes me to bliss. And it has some of the principles in it of what I discovered were important to the 5 steps. So my miracle story is that I live on a lot in a house, a beautiful house, a place that has a lot of acreage in the back. Well, half an acre, but it's enough to build a granny unit on it, which is now called an ADU, like an in-law unit. So we've thought about it many times, to be a great source of additional income and things like that, but we just never had the passion to move forward with it. And then my son decided that he was getting married, and he and his wife were living here at our house, and it was the perfect opportunity to build the unit. And so we set out to do that. And my husband kept saying, where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to get the money? And this is one of the principles, which is number 2. So first one is vision. Number 2 is sparkle. And sparkle is feeling it. It's kind of that idea of putting on the suit, and it's acting as if. And now that doesn't mean you go out and spend the money, right? But I did get the architecture plans drawn, and I found the contractor, and my husband kept saying, where are we going to get the money? Where are we going to get the money? Well, I left no stone unturned. I looked at financing our house. I actually got a short-term loan that would cover doing this, but I didn't want to go into debt to do this, right? So I kept just looking everywhere for all opportunity. Well, it wasn't even where I was looking. My husband got a call from his brother saying, have you ever felt like you won the lotto? And some money came to us out of the blue. The names of his parents were not even connected to it. We still don't know for sure if that's where it came from. They died 5 years ago and 7 years ago, right? And so, but all of a sudden, enough money that was almost 2 times as much as we needed to build the unit got deposited into our bank account. That ADU unit was built on this miracle money.
I like that. Miracle money.
Yes, miracle money.
Miracle money. Bing, bing, bing.
Yeah, bing,
It's
bing,
a
bing.
beautiful story. Okay, Christi. So we know the first one. Give us the other steps.
Number 2 is sparkle. Number 3 is unlocking what's stopping you. Where are you stuck? And all of our experience of us here is actually a reflection of all of our belief systems, and most of them are hidden in our subconscious.
And so we have to uncover them to get them out of the way so that we can create miracles.
Yes, we need to bring them to the surface to reveal them so we can heal them. And the good news is that once you get the experience of doing this, and this is why I take all of this work deeper in these 7 steps, you will not have to always go back and dig up the past. You start getting the feeling tone of, something's up. You know what? I'm going to replace it with a new thought. And I have tools for helping you do that.
Love it. Okay, good. Any more steps?
Yes. Number 4 is you are an expression of the divine. You are the divine in expression. And it's a great tool to ask yourself, would the divine really want me to be stuck? Would the divine really want me to be struggling if I am creating its experience into the world? And, of course, the answer is no. Would the divine love me to be abundant and free and creative? Yes, absolutely. And then number 5 is truth. And this aligns with speaking your truth. And you don't want to let anything cross the threshold of your thoughts or your lips that you don't want to create. And that's a hard practice. Believe me, I know practitioners who've been in this work forever, and I get to coach them in calibrating high vibrational thoughts for them to be thinking and speaking. And then number 7 is serve what is. It's kind of a difficult one to explain in a short time. It's about serving the truth, and it is about taking the action steps that are yours to take in order to create this out into the world. And the very last one is just do it. Now, I hope I have a short little 30 seconds to tell this story. This was before I even came into this work that I knew it worked. I didn't know what it was, but I met this young girl. She was just graduating from high school, and she says, "Oh, I would just love to go to Hawaii." And I said, "Then go." And she says, "Oh, my mother worked so hard. She's a single mother. Haven't seen my father in 5 years, and it's just really not possible." And I said, "Well, it was at the time back in the day when you could make a plane reservation and they would hold it for 3 days, right?" So I said, "Well, just act as if, just do it." So she booked her flight, she booked her hotel, she started telling her girlfriends about it, and they all started getting on board too. And out of the blue, her father, who had not been in touch with her in 5 years, called and said, "Hey, honey, congratulations. What would you like for your graduation?" Now, if she wouldn't have been doing this work, she would have said a prom dress, or prom shoes or something, but she had it all in place. She says, "I want to go to Hawaii." And guess what? She and her friends did.
That's beautiful. I love that. Just do it. Okay, Christi, give us a quick recap of the steps.
Okay. It's the vision, the sparkle, the getting unstuck, knowing you are divine in expression, speak and act only truth, and serve what is, and do it.
Bing, bing. Love it. Everybody, this is Christi Corradi that we've been with. Please look at the show notes. Christi, I know you have a free gift for everybody, which is at masteringtheartoflife.com/get5-questions. Everybody, that's in the show notes. By the way, if you're listening to this through Apple, know that you can also go to CaterinaRando.com, and this podcast episode and all of the show notes and a transcript is listed there. Christi, anything you want to share with our listeners before we wrap up our time together today?
Yeah, I want to share a Rumi quote, which is that if we do everything else but what we came here in the world to do, it's as if we did nothing. So you really want to get in touch with what your masterpiece is to do here in this world, in this lifetime.
Yay. Thank you, Christi. Everybody go manifest some miracles in your life. Listen to this episode a couple more times so you really get it. Reach out to Christi. Remember, you have massive value to bring. There is a lifetime supply of people to serve. Take action so that you can sell more, serve more, and most importantly, uplift more lives. I'm Caterina Rando. Can't wait to be with you again. Go to my website to find out about the latest free workshops we're offering, listen to more podcasts, and get uplifted. Thanks, everybody. Bing, bing, bing.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Expand Your Fempire with Caterina Rando.